Hi there, I'm Wayne Purser, local realtor with Coldwell Banker Bain Real Estate Services, downtown Edmonds, just footsteps from the fountain. We're here at this month's edition of Spotlight Edmonds Real Estate Reports. Today I have a special guest, Teresa Wippel with My Edmonds News, local online newspaper. We'll have our local weather report for our temperatures on real estate, and then we'll close with a question from one of our viewers. Right now, I'd like to introduce a special guest, Teresa Wippel with My Edmonds News here locally in downtown Edmonds. We've known each other since Halloween of 2010.
Long time.
Yeah, welcome.
Yeah, thank you. It's great to be here.
Yeah.
And so weird to be in the other side of the interview chair, as
Yeah.
we were saying. I usually am the one doing the interviews, so this is
Right.
kind of fun.
Right. So regarding real estate, so Teresa's here today because the impact of what a local online newspaper, information about the community, and what she does is very important for the people that contact me, buyers and sellers, want to know what's going on in the community. So we're here today to talk about My Edmonds News.
Great.
Go
Yeah.
ahead. Tell us, how does it impact the community?
Well, I think that people come to us a lot for information, and especially when they're thinking about moving here.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, if you're selling a house to someone and you might want to refer them to My Edmonds News to find out, what's available in terms of entertainment and schools and shopping and restaurants and parks and recreation activities. We do keep track of all the things that are going on. We have an events calendar. We have information about things that are coming up that anybody might want to go to. Edmonds Center for the Arts, that beautiful facility, a lot of other beach walks, things that the Parks Department sponsors. So it's a great resource for families, for retired people, for anybody who's trying to figure out what's going on in town.
Right. As newspapers have dwindled, Edmonds still has its local newspaper, but people are going more and more, waking up at 7 in the morning, 6:30, having a cup of coffee, and going online,
That's right.
making
Yeah.
it really easy for people to see what's current.
Yeah, and it's funny, you and I were talking earlier, when I started My Edmonds News in October of 2009, actually, we just had a few hundred unique visitors a day, which is basically, we can tell, who's a unique visitor by their IP address in the computer.
Right.
So that's how we count them. But now we have about 6,000 unique visitors a day, and every year it grows. We have more. And we have a daily newsletter that comes out actually in an email form, so it's kind of like getting your daily newspaper in your phone or on your computer.
Right.
And in that summary every day, it provides that kind of information. And I've been told by people that it's the first thing they do in the morning. They'll get their phone out, and some people have told me men have told me they actually do it when they're shaving. They have their phone in one hand and they're shaving in the other and reading the latest. So it's a real handy way to catch up on what's going on.
Right. And that's what I like about our relationships that we have here, is that we're both about community.
Mm-hmm.
And so quickly, why don't you just share with the viewers of how you got started?
Yeah, well, in 2009, I was in between jobs and was trying to figure out kind of what I wanted to do next. And my husband, who works in Mount Lake Terrace, said, there's this online newspaper in Mount Lake Terrace, and I think you should start one in Edmonds. And at the time, I have a journalism background and technology skills. And at the time, I had just been aware that these online newspapers were just starting to become a trend, right? It hadn't
Right.
really taken off before that. And so I started looking into it. It was pretty easy. It's really simple. Anybody can create a WordPress website now, and you don't have to know how to code or do anything like that. You just write it, and it magically appears. Your website
Yep.
has the same function. And it started from there. I started going to city government meetings, which I told you earlier. We've lived here many years, for almost 30 years, but the schools were the only connection I had to, the community. My kids went through school and went to PTA meetings, but I'd never gone to a city council meeting. I knew who the mayor was, but that was about it. I really
Right.
didn't know who was who was in charge. So started going to those meetings and reporting on them, and then what happened is the elected officials realized that because I was online, people not only would read the articles, but they could actually comment. And there was this dialogue that started, and that's one of my greatest bits of excitement about what I've done. It is truly two-way communication. People go in there and they have conversations with each other about the news of the day, or about issues that matter, or controversies, or things that they're sad about or happy about or mad about. And the elected officials went, okay, well, we better start paying attention to this because people are talking about us,
Right.
Talking about our decisions. And the engagement is really great. I mean, that's what I really intended to do when I started out with this, and it's happened.
Right, and you've had great success with advertising because you're in a business.
Yep.
And so tell us the ways of how that's impacted.
You know, that's how online news has, well, in journalism in general, right? Newspapers have kind of, for a long time, relied on advertising. And of course, as that industry has contracted, the internet basically dealt a very severe blow to the way newspapers made money. Craigslist came along, took away all the classified advertising that they were was basically their bread and butter, and a lot of the other big kind of advertising sources newspapers have gone away. So as everything shifted online, what's happened is that now people will advertise online, but it has not replaced that amount of revenue that newspapers were getting when they were actually paper. And so the challenge for those of us in this news business now and this online model is, how do you make money?
Right.
Because I do have people who write for me and I pay them and take photographs for me, and I have to have a way to be able to pay them. And so how do you make money at it? And I do have advertising and I value my advertisers very much. But the truth is that there's a bigger picture here, and it's, you and I talked about this, it's basically the very simple concept of crowdfunding. The readers are actually starting to come out and support because they realize that nothing is free, including news. And
Right.
that's the biggest challenge, is that, you know, the internet is free. We all get online and we read whatever shows up in our Facebook feed or, you know, the news that we see, but we don't think about it actually costs money to produce it.
Right, because if you had your paper delivered to you, you pay a monthly fee.
Yeah.
So same thing here for you,
Yeah.
paying a monthly fee to help support, continue My Edmonds News.
That's right, yeah, and that is exactly the word that I've been trying to spread, and actually it's been fairly, the response has been gratifying because we have been getting more subscribers. And can I do my shameless plug now?
Please.
Okay, so we're trying to figure out different ways to reward people for supporting us, and so came up with this idea. Here it is. It is do I have that straight? It's a European style car sticker that you can put on your window or put on your bumper, and it actually says EDM, which everybody says, what does that stand for? And the truth is, it doesn't stand for anything other than it's just an abbreviated form of Edmonds.
Okay.
And it actually has Edmonds, Washington underneath, and it has My Edmonds News shameless plug in the middle.
Sure.
But this is something that's available to people if they subscribe for $10 a month, which when you translate that into 30 days, that's not very much money per day.
No. And you do such a great service for the community, and more people, like you say, thousands of people are now seeing it daily. So
Well, thank you, and you do too, Wayne. And it has been great to have this relationship because you are all about community. You always have been ever since I met you. You made that very clear to me. Yes, I'm in the real estate business, but I really am about doing what's best for the community. You did your 365 things to do in Edmonds. That's
Right.
when I first met you, and you were out there every day. And I was wondering, how is he doing this every single day for 365 days? So I think it's really important to keep that in mind, and it's great to know that there are people out there who still really care about the community.
Right. Okay, super. So you found out that you can, for $10 a month, you can get this. Why don't you tell us how they can contact you?
Yes, they can. Well, if you go to myedmondsnews.com, of course, there is at the very top of the page in blue a subscribe button. And if
Okay.
they click on that, they will go to all the options. They can pay online, they can pay by credit card, they can send me a check. We're open to any way people want to give us money.
Okay, super. Well, that wraps up this portion of my special guest, Teresa Wippel with My Edmonds News. And now we're going to go on to Spotlight in Edmonds Real Estate Weather Report. Welcome back to this month's Spotlight in Edmonds Real Estate Weather Report. In Edmonds, zip code 020, we have currently 50 listings, and sales for July would be 47, giving us a weather temperature of 94 degrees, or a current market time about 18 days. Interest rates, they've gone down a little bit. We don't foresee any increase in interest rates till definitely after the election here in less than 60 days, and possibly into next year, depending on who gets elected president and where the economy is going. Edmonds, zip code 026, 97 current listings, 74 sales, weather temperature of 77 degrees. That gives us a market time about 40. The issue there is, why is it 40 days? Is homes that are priced well are selling in 7 to 14 days. Sellers seem to be getting a little greedy and pushing the market, so their homes are sitting on the market. Mukilteo, Briar, Linwood, Mountain Lake Terrace, and Mill Creek, 349 current listings, 320 sales for July with a weather temperature of 92 degrees or a market time of about 24 days. Same thing there in that market. If you sell it price it correctly, it will sell. Shoreline hasn't changed. 97 listings, 107 sales, 100 degrees plus. As soon as they come on the market, they're off because they're pricing them where they need to be, and multiple offers are pushing the sales price up in the Shoreline area. That wraps up this portion of Spotlight on Edmonds Real Estate Weather Report. Now we're going to go on to a question from one of our viewers.
Hey Wayne, I have a friend who went through a foreclosure a couple of years ago. Can he buy a home again?
That's a great question. As a realtor, I get asked questions about bankruptcy, foreclosures, short sales. I have a derogatory credit matrix here that you can get from me. Just email me, WaynePurser@cbbain.com, and it will walk you through of how many years you need to wait, because you can have home ownership again. And that's what I want to do, is let people know that you have to wait 2, 3, or 4 years, but we can find out what you need to do to get your credit back up, to get you qualified to get home ownership, because you can get it. If you have any questions, please contact me. Again, WaynePurser@cbbain.com. That wraps up this portion of Spotlight of Edmonds. We look forward to seeing you next month. Hi, I'm Wayne Purser, a local realtor at Coldwell Banker Bain Real Estate Services, downtown Edmonds, just footsteps from the fountain. What I have here is a new offer for you as a viewer to receive a copy of the Pacific Northwest First Quarter Market Report for 2016. This will include the Puget Sound, Southwest Washington, and the Oregon-Portland area. At Coldwell Banker Bain Seal, we have over 1,000 brokers and 31 offices in Washington and Oregon. This market report will include cities and counties, average sales price, number of closings, average days on the market, and current inventory. If you'd like your own copy, email me at WaynePurser@cbba.com or call me at 206-235-2693.